Hi, how's it going? Since we're in a new year, I thought it would be fun to do a look back and reflect on all the artwork I did this year. Honestly, I really hate to admit it, but I barely created any new illustrations. In the 12 months, I only made maybe 10 new illustrations. At the end of this video, I'm gonna yap about some future goals for PogPals, so grab a snack, get a drink, come hang out, feel free to put me on while you go about your day. So, at the end of the year, there's this thing called art versus artists. It's a trend that pops up everywhere. You'll often see your art mutuals sharing their creations next to their selfies on the timeline. It's a fun way to highlight all the artwork that you've illustrated throughout the year. I'm kind of struggling. I'm trying to make my art versus artist post, but I didn't really make any new art pieces this year. It's not enough to fill up the whole grid. I'm a little disappointed I didn't make any new art pieces, like compared to previous years, but also I realized that I had different focuses this year in particular. If you guys follow me on Instagram or on Twitter, y'all see me posting all the time. Most of those posts are reposts because I'm a firm believer that everyone spends only 5 seconds looking at your art. And you spend, 10 hours drawing that art piece? You might as well repost it as many times as you want. You have my permission to repost your art. The funny thing is, I did actually draw a ton this year, but most of my pieces don't feel like full illustrations to me. They're more like assets for my Twitch stream or my YouTube channel. To me, a full illustration is something that's meant purely for your eyes to admire. The intention of a fun, full illustration is something to just ooh and ah over, you know? So this was an unintentional focus, but I put a lot of time and effort towards Twitch. I redid my entire Twitch overlay layout, and I created a fully immersive illustrated setup this year. Now my Twitch streams feel way more interactive and so much more immersive. I'm very proud of all the new assets I illustrated for my Twitch streams. This is what my old Twitch stream used to look like. You know, the classic full screen gameplay with a VTuber smashed in the corner. Now my Twitch layouts look a lot more fun. It's like you're stepping into my little world. I illustrated this scene and it has very light touch animations, but I am hoping to actually fully animate this whole scene like much later. But yeah, I illustrated this cute little retro camera, a little phone to watch TikToks, and I even, my just chatting scene was also new this year as well. It's really funny because if you watch my previous yearly recap, I do talk about that I want my focus to be on YouTube and making long form videos. But I actually wanted to deprioritize streaming on Twitch. But I just have this innate love for streaming, and it's why Twitch has become an unintentional focus for this year. If I wasn't streaming, I was preparing and prepping things for art markets, which was my other focus this year. When you run a small business, a lot of day-to-day tasks actually doesn't involve making new art. I was very, very busy with PogPals this year. I did a lot more table events and got into more art markets, and I find it very difficult to find time to make new art between full-time doing art markets and streaming. Most of the markets I did were from early spring to mid-summer, and I did do one big art market in December. Markets aren't something I can do consistently, with my work schedule and my other responsibilities, but I'm glad that I was able to do as many table events as I was able to. This was my first for real year tabling at art markets, and I have a lot of thoughts and learnings from my first year, and I'd like to make a separate video about that topic. The most labor-intensive art piece I did this year, it was actually one of my products. So this is the Sleepy Tulip illustration. This might be my most time-consuming creation this year. It's also the newest addition to my bandana collection. I'm a huge fan of wearing bandanas, and I've developed a passion for designing them. This piece took a lot of effort and was a true labor of love. This was my most popular art piece this year. I made this sushi illustration at the beginning of 2024. It was an emotional period where I was stuck in a hospital and I was craving sushi. I wanted sushi so badly, but I refused to eat hospital sushi. So instead, I illustrated my own plate of sushi. This is my personal favorite art piece this year. The persimmon artwork was inspired by my Amma's big giant persimmon tree in her yard. Picking persimmons always brings back autumn memories, and I was missing my family in North Cal, so I created this piece. I did a couple of small doodles. I don't really know if I consider them as for real illustrated pieces, but I did a series of dog doodles featuring my little boy Crunchy. He's a cockapoo, and I love this one. I love this one so much because Crunchy is my stinky little boy. This is my favorite Pagu. Look at him, perceive him. He's just such a little guy. It's funny because if you look at this very accurate graph of me posting art, it went from nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden it became October and I posted so much out of nowhere. I was panicking, I wasn't drawing enough and I wasn't posting enough and I was shadow banned on all of my platforms. So I just dumped a bunch of Halloween drawings. And then I totally spun out. I got exhausted and I made no new art pieces in November. This is my personal favorite Halloween doodle from the month of October. It's a bunch of Pagus. They're struggling to carry a single candy corn. And this art piece pays homage to Pikmin because I played a bunch of Pikmin this year, and it has truly become a game that is near and dear to my heart. In November, I stepped into my goth emo era. I don't know what altered my brain chemistry, but I had the sudden urge and desire to draw my characters as goth kids. I did a fun Draw This in Your Style challenge, and I asked my Puddle Town community to draw goth emo Poggy, and look at all of these beautiful submissions. Everyone did such a fantastic job. I got into a goth era and I started doodling Pagu as a punk rock little guy, and he sort of reminds me about that super cool Squirtle in that Squirtle gang from that one episode from Pokemon. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I swear I'm not making this up. See, it's totally a thing. It's the Squirtle Squad. It's not the Squirtle gang. Okay, my bad. So by December, I hadn't created much, but I took a chance to revisit an old piece. I decided to redraw an artwork from 2020 and give it a fresh take at the end of 2024. It's really neat to do these redraws because I get to look back and see how my art style has evolved. I really enjoy making these recap videos that showcases my artwork from the year. It just allows me to reflect and see what worked and what didn't. Looking ahead, I do aim to focus on creating more short animations. I love my silly frog animations and it makes a lot of people laugh, and I do want to get better at frame-by-frame animation. For my business goals, I want to be more dog-headed and determined to get into larger events with higher attendance. I also want to improve my wholesale relationships. It's an area that I've been wanting to expand, but I just haven't quite nailed it down. I don't have any follow goals or any social media metric I want to hit. I find it very toxic to base your success and value as a creator on a vanity metric like a follow number. But just for the memories, this is just for the memories and a fun look back in the future, here are my current stats. So I have 15K on Twitter, 10K on Instagram, 2K on Twitch, 27K on TikTok, and I just reached 1.1K on Blue Sky. And my very, very sad YouTube channel that I keep abandoning is at 935 follows. I am almost at 1,000, guys. I am so close. So that means if you're watching this and you haven't already followed me on YouTube, please hit that follow because I'm so close to 1,000. And a very, very quick recap on some of my favorite games that impacted me a lot this year, because I do have a deep love of video games and they heavily influenced my art and my art style. So I just wanted to share it really quickly. My favorite game this year was Pikmin 4. My favorite Pretty Pixels goes to Animal Well. The most addictive game that I poured an embarrassing number of hours goes to Splatoon 3. And my current obsession is Balatro, which is quickly becoming my new addiction. Thanks everyone for hearing me yap. I hope I was able to keep you company while you did some art, or maybe you were playing some games. My name is Poggy, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.